Grand Rising family, hello. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Welcome. Check in, family. Let us know where you're hailing from. It's so good to see everybody. I am glad to be back live on YouTube because you guys know that they censored me and wouldn't allow me to post for 8 days. But here I am. Welcome, everybody. I hope you've had a very, very happy holiday season. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Winter Solstice, Happy Kwanzaa, and all of the festivals that go on around this season. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful season. So this is Christmas season for most Christians. However, according to Orthodox Christians, Christmas will actually be held on January the 6th. And that is considered the Orthodox Christians' high celebration of the birth of Christ. So they go by the Julian calendar, whereas many Christians are going by the Gregorian calendar today. So if you haven't celebrated it yet, because it's not yet January the 6th, then hey, or the 6th or 7th, somewhere around that time, happy Christmas season, a happy Orthodox Christmas. Also, it's interesting because a lot of things are supposed to happen around this time. They've been calling it, not just me, not just Princess Elizabeth, but people now and mainstream are calling this, between this season in January the 6th or 7th, the Jubilee season. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how the floodgates have opened, the floods of heaven. Remember the song? If you grew up as a Christian, especially in a Black church, they had this song called "Open the Floodgates of Heaven, Let It Rain." And it would talk about in the song how the floodgates have been held back, the gates of prosperity and wealth and joy have been held back by the enemy. But now you can sing and actually bring in that floodgates of abundance into your reality by ushering in yourself. And so they would they would talk to God, talk to the angels and say, by command, open these floodgates of heaven, let it rain, let it rain down blessings, let it rain down abundance, let it rain down prosperity and peace. So what I'm telling you right now is that we are actually living in that season. I tried to tell you all about that around Christmas, actually on Christmas Day, but I wasn't able to go live from YouTube, so I had to do it from Rumble. And so a lot of people missed that podcast. And for those of you who did catch the podcast, for some reason, it was buffering. I mean, it was not just on Rumble, but it was buffering across all my social media outlets. But that's okay. We're here today. I'm so glad to see everybody. Check in, family. Let us know where you're hailing from. I see 279 people in the chat, and I'm so grateful. Let's talk about these floodgates of heaven, how they have been opened, not just by the Creator, but a lot of the puppets or people who are being used by the elites to send the messages are letting us know through some of the rituals that they're doing that the floodgates and the portals have been opened. Now, some people are reporting that these are demonic spirits that are coming onto the plane or onto the planet. And I'm telling you, that is not the messages that I have been receiving. And many of you have confirmed that these floodgates that are opening, these doors and these portals are actually releasing wealth and abundance. So you'll see people performing rituals just to let us know that they're sending coded messages to each other for those who are awake, and they're speaking to other elite people. So keep coming in, family. I see, who is that? I see Magical or Magic with Missy on Instagram. I see Moore's Make the World Go Round. I see Martin here. Hello. Oh, so many people are checking in on Instagram. I'm glad to see you. I don't usually have this many people here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about the floodgates being open. I also see ready for, who is that? Ready to rock your A here. She says, or he says, go, Dr. Kia Pruitt. I love your information. Crystal says, Grand Rising. Hello, Crystal. Yes, I'm back. People are waiting. They said, you've been waiting for me to come back. Here I am. New Priest says, hello, Dr. Kia. In the chat, it's a rainy day in North California. It's also a rainy day here in Jacksonville, family. Patricia is hailing from Tennessee. My girl is here. Thank you for chiming in, my girl. It's good to see you. Rich Pritz is always dropping me some intel. I appreciate you, Rich Pritz. He says hello. Hello and shalom, Horatio. Who else is in the chat? And for those of you who've been asking about Princess Elizabeth, I talked to her this morning. She's doing very well. Grand rising to you too, Sister Harvetta Lassiter Bay. I see my Moorish families in the house. I see family members from Australia, New Zealand in the house, and from cities and states all over America. Thank you. Adrian is here from Chicago. Hi, Crystal. It's good to see you. Happy Sunday to Vanessa Rodriguez. Hello, family. I see more people checking in on Instagram. Greetings to you, Millie Mary. It's so good to see you. All of you that are in the house. Yes, hey, this is a happy season. It's a festival time, Brother Israel. Who is that? Let me see. Also, I see Millie in the house, Vanessa in the house, LT in the house, Chicago's in the house. Hello, Adrian. Michael George says, Grand Rising family. It's good to see you too, Michael. You're always here supporting us. Let's go. Absolutely, Chi Virgo. She says, hello, Phoenix Rising from South Africa. It's good to see you. It's good to be back. Oh, I missed you too, Israel. I'm so glad to be here. Hi, Tracy. Good afternoon. Good morning. Juanita's in the house. Oh, she says, I need to cash app you, but my chime won't send without a phone number. Also, thank you so much for anybody that wants to send a cash app. I appreciate you. You guys have been blessing me. Even though you haven't seen me, you still been blessing me with cash apps. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. In fact, let me shout you out. Thank you for sending that message. While I was away, let me tell you all the people that's been showing Dr. Kia Pruitt love, saying like, we are still thinking about you. Don't you get discouraged. I've got those type of messages. We're going to still take care of you. So thank you. My cash app for somebody just asked is $ Mama Kia 13. That's $ MAMAKIA 13. $ Mama Kia 13. So thank you, Bobby Stevenson, for blessing me. Chief Mac, you always take care of me. You sent me many blessings. Thank you. Sister Gloria Jackson, thank you. God bless you. Heaven smile on you all for taking care of me. Sister Malkia Brown, Brother Joseph Evans, thank you. Sister Joyce Duckett, I appreciate you. And of course, Sister Theola, something about your energy just always blesses me. Thank you, Sister Theola. What is it? Listen, B. Thank you. Victoria Fila, God bless you. Heaven smile on you is my prayer. And of course, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., also known as David Quigley, he and his woman, his lovely companion, Rockin' Robin, sends me blessings as well. Thank you both so much. Lydell Coffer sent me a blessing. Thank you. Joanne Sheffer and Carol Rashford. Thank you so very much. God bless you, heaven smile on you, and may the Creator, the Most High, bless you 1,000-fold more than you were able to even comprehend, for thinking about me and sending me a blessing, for writing me, for praying for me, for encouraging me. Some of you have called me, whether you have my phone number or not. Some of you call me on Facebook Messenger just to encourage me to hang on and stay encouraged and not allow the deep state or the faction of the cabal that tries to silence me keep my mouth closed. So thank you so much, because it does get discouraging sometimes when you're doing things to uplift the planet and to encourage the people, but then all of a sudden you're shut down and you can't do what you're called to do. So I appreciate those of you who send me encouraging words and messages. Thank you. Godfident is in the house, and Godfident says all praises. That's beautiful. Millie Mary says it's raining prosperity for humanity. Absolutely. Sister Harvetta says, hit the like button, family. We now have 481 people in the chat. Thank you, Sister Barbara Pittman, for sending me a blessing. I appreciate you. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. I'm just so grateful for you all. Thank you. As Adisa, thank you for sending me a blessing. God bless you. You guys are wonderful. Mississippi is in the house. Hallelujah. Hello, Beyond RX. The birth of Christ is July the 23rd, Millie Mary says. You know, some people says it's July. Some people says the birth of Christ was actually in September on 9/11. Some people say it was the spring. Some people say it was during the Feast of Tabernacles. I mean, there are so many days to consider. But we do know that December the 25th is the day that the Roman Catholics came up with because they wanted to merge the celebration and commemoration of the birth of Christ along with their holy days or their holidays, which was about dealing with the winter solstice. And so they would use lights to put on their houses or on their trees to entice the sun to come back. Because as you all know, that is the shortest time period of the year. It's when the days have, I think it's the shortest days in a year, around the 25th of December. So the sun is not out as long. And in order to entice the sun back, you would put up lights. Now, there's some discrepancy as to whether or not you should have trees in your house, because Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, is speaking to a group of people that said, don't have evergreen trees in your house for whatever reason. Some people say because they not only hung lights on the trees, but some people say they hung of big human beings on trees. I don't know. I just know that most people that celebrate Christmas during this time do so, and they come from a good place. They desire to celebrate the birth of the Christ or the Messiah, and they do it because it's a family day, and they're off, they're on vacation, they're enjoying the rest, they're enjoying the relaxation, and they're enjoying the love and companionship and fellowship of family and friends, and they enjoy gift giving. So this is why we tell everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Solstice, Happy Hanukkah, or whatever time of the year, or however you all call this highly festive season. I just want to acknowledge you and say, I appreciate you all for being here. And I think it's wonderful that you take the time to spend time with your family and to share gifts with one another. So thank you, Sister Juanita. I sent the Cash App address. It's $Mama Kia 13. So let's get into these floodgates, family. These floodgates that are opening. I got so much to tell you all, but I'll do my best not to be on too much longer or too long, because it is a Sunday and Sunday is a family day. Mary says we vibing high in Wisconsin. Millie Mary is hailing from California, and we want to give acknowledgement and thanks to Billy for being here from Louisiana. Andrew is checking in from California. Vanessa says, greetings, beautiful teacher from Los Angeles, California. Thank you, Sister Vanessa. Ron is in the house from Louisiana, that great state where the Washita Empress Verdiasi or Verdice Gaston L. Turner Bay was the empress of the Moorish Empire, and particularly of the Ashita or Washita people. She was also a mayor in some of the cities, a couple of cities actually in Louisiana, and she is the one who took the United States Incorporated to court for the Louisiana theft that they call the Louisiana Purchase. She took United States Incorporated to court and brought the allodial title of the land with her and won her case in the amount of $85 quadrillion that's supposed to go back to the autochthonous or indigenous Americans that are here in this country around this time, once the deep state has been fully conquered. So kudos to you all in Louisiana. They knew that there was a particular bloodline there, and that's why they sent that Hurricane Katrina there, because they were trying to wipe out that bloodline. They were trying to steal the resources, including all of the wealth and abundance that's underground, but they also were trying to steal your land and pay back the Empress of the Ashita Empire for taking them to court. They wanted to teach her a lesson and her people or her bloodline a lesson. They're evil like that. So at the same time that she had taken them to court, you also had the farmers that took the United States Incorporated to court, because the United States Incorporated and the central banking system, or the Federal Reserve central banking system to be exact, would force farmers to take out loans in order for them to plant certain seeds. And then in order to take out a loan, you had to plant Monsanto seeds, which were heavily poisonous. And they had to do certain things to cattle, like feed them corn, which is not a part of their natural diet. So the farmers were like, look, Well, Empress Verdiasi took them to court, and other people were taking United States Incorporated to court. But we're the backbone of the nation here in America, and farmers are the backbones of the nations all over the world. We're the ones that are feeding the people, and they're forcing us to poison them if we want a loan from the central banking system. So not only did they prove that the central banking system would force them to do certain things in order to get loans, but they would make them take out loans with high interest rates. And usury, or which is also another word for putting interest rates upon people, is unconstitutional. So they got them on that. The lawyers that represented the farmers said, okay, it's unconstitutional to charge interest. Well, once the farmers did that, a lot of farmers were unalived. A lot of their lawyers came up unalived, and the farmers were really, really having a difficult time, a challenging time fighting against the corporate deep state, nefarious central banking system and these bloodline families that actually controlled the banks. So they stayed the course, though, and it was determined in those court hearings that not only had the Federal Reserve central banking system been unfair and unconstitutional towards the farmers, and not only had they done things like unalive many of them, but they had also been unconstitutional in their banking practices to we the people in America and to people all over the world. And it was determined during those court hearings that after that, first of all, a military would be put together to take down the cabal, the deep state, these bloodline families that had usurped authority from our republic or our lawful government. But the army would not only take them down, but they would take down the whole central banking system, the whole fiat system attached to them. And when that time happens, that has been fully accomplished, then the farmers would be paid out through something called the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, what we call NASARA. And that what the court cases went on to say is that we won't just take care of American farmers and American people, but we're going to extend that out to the whole world. And that is how it became known as JSARA, or the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. So you had a lot of different court cases that were taken to the highest level, brought against the deep state cabal, central banking system, Federal Reserve, United States Incorporated, who was masquerading as lawful governments here in America and all over the world. But this unlawful government, the United States Incorporated, is actually a part of the Roman Empire. And it's important for me to mention that because we're going to talk about the Pope today. The United States Incorporated, or bloodline families that had taken over our lawful government, the Republic here, and had done the same all over the world, registered themselves in the state of Delaware as the United States Incorporated in 1871 and as a nonprofit religious organization. Religious because the Pope allegedly was to head that. Why the Pope? Because the Pope represents the Roman Empire. So the United States Incorporated is nothing but an extension of the Roman Empire. So it's important to note that because you saw a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, them actually tell you that the Roman Empire was over and that their time was up. How did they do that in the Super Bowl? All of these sports are rigged. What they did was they allowed the Eagles to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. And before that happened, I said, well, the Chiefs are going to win because this is a whole new time. We're living in a whole new time period where everything is going to be turned over from the cabal, the deep state, the bloodline families, on over, back over to the chiefs on the land, and the indigenous people, or we the people on the land, the real flesh and blood so-called human beings are now going to be back in control of their own land, their own resources, their own countries, their own dynasties, their own bloodline, their own foods, their own water, their own wealth. So the Chiefs indeed won against the Eagles. Why is that relevant? It's relevant because the eagle is the symbol of the Roman Empire. The eagle is the symbol of the Pope and the whole Roman Empire. And they chose the eagle as that symbol because it represents the eagle being a bird or a fowl of prowess, great prowess, predators. Now that season of the eagles are over. So we're going to talk more about that as we move along in the podcast to let you all know that they're actually telling you that their time is up. And they were telling you not only in their games, in their halftime performances, but also in their rituals. And we're going to talk about the rituals of the Pope that we just saw happen not too long ago. But before we do that, hello, Texas. Thank you, Sister Anna, for being in the house. Kathy Laney. Hi, Kathy. She's hailing from South Carolina. It's always good to see you. Blue Wave says the Illuminati is done and it's God's time. Absolutely. Gen X is in the house. Welcome back. It's always good to see you. Hello, Tracy Fleming. Good morning and good afternoon from Chicago. Jason X says the Iraqi dinar is about to shoot up in value, and I agree wholeheartedly because everything is done. Iraq is done. The payment platforms are done. They're ready to act. They've actually revalued in country, and they're ready to let the world know how much has been revalued, and we'll know when it starts to trade on the Forex. So some people in country already know that. Okay, we've heard of the celebrations that are going on in Iraq. They're going on for a couple reasons. They're going on in Iraq because people behind the scenes that are at certain levels know that they're about to be paid out, that the dinar is about to go up in value or be revalued or reinstated back to the value that it should have been in the first place, and maybe even go up higher because it's going to be backed by resources that the country in Iraq has. So that's one reason a celebration is going on in Iraq. Another reason, I'm speaking to people now that's invested in Iraq. Just to address Jason, another reason why there are celebrations going on in Iraq right now is because around this season, the Iraqi people actually commemorate the end of ISIS. So ISIS, we know, is some type of Islamic state that had taken control over certain regions of Iraq and enslaved the people, took over their monetary system, and did all type of things to the Iraqi people, and it caused a whole great big mess in terms of destroying the economy and causing war there and bringing in other nations to fight in the war. So ever since they won against ISIS in 2017, they celebrated the freedom or victory from ISIS. Now, a lot of people say, well, that ISIS is about an Islamic state taking over Iraq and I totally agree with it. They came up with that name because has to deal with the Islamic State. But as I said in another podcast, which happened for some reason to upset some people, is that they consistently use the name of ISIS in a derogatory way when ISIS, in fact, originally was the name of an Egyptian goddess. So her name in Egypt was Aset. And I talked about how the Father, Son, Holy Ghost originally was Father, Mother, Child, or Father, Son, Mother. The Holy Ghost or Spirit, Holy Spirit is actually mother in Egyptian culture. But when the Greeks took over Egypt and decimated their libraries and took over all the wealth, information, and knowledge, then they changed it from Asar, Aset, and Heru to Osiris, Isis, and Horus. They named those three entities. And then the Romans actually took on some of that the Greeks stole from the Egyptians. And you can learn that information from a book called Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. And interestingly enough, after he came out with that book called Stolen Legacy about how the Greeks stole the identity of the Egyptians, stole their culture, their religion, and called it Greek mythology, stole their information about chemistry, geometry, and the highest levels of information and intellect, burned down all the libraries. Then they said it was their stuff, the Greeks did. So again, Isis was a goddess, whose original name was Aset. And these Roman people who came into power, for some reason they hate women. That's why they came up with Father, Son, Holy Ghost being three males, instead of acknowledging mama or acknowledging the female principle or the female version of female expression of God or goddess being Asar or Isis. When they use those names, Aset or Isis, they'll do so in a derogatory way. So when you think of ISIS, you're going to think of an Islamic state that was violent or terroristic entity that overtook Iraq, rather than thinking of ISIS as the Egyptians did, as being a benevolent goddess that was part of the Trinity. See, a lot of stuff that they teach us now is like only in part. So now they have us talking about Father, Son, Holy Spirit as all masculine expressions of God. A male God, a male Son, and a male Holy Spirit, just completely leaving out Mama or Aset or Isis. And if they do mention her, it's got to be in a mean, evil, terroristic way. Well, not on my watch. They're not going to do it. I'm going to tell you the truth. So anyway, the people in Iraq are celebrating right now because it's the end of ISIS, or as Obama called them, ISIL. He called it ISIL. And people tried to check him on it when he said ISIL, but he knew, I'm sure at some level being elite, what they were doing by calling that terroristic group ISIS. So the Iraqi people are celebrating right now, and I would encourage you to celebrate as well and to get your dinars and all your foreign currencies in order and categorize them. And I would encourage you, if you haven't gotten some and you desire to get some, go and do it. Somebody says, is it true that the Catholic makes the sign of the upside down cross? I've heard that, but I'm not sure. Okay. I've heard that. One place you can get the Iraqi dinar and some of the other currencies, please put in the chat if you think people should get involved in certain currencies in order to invest, then put in the chat what those currencies are and where they can get them from. But one place would be Great American Coin Company. Another place would be 100trillions.com. And then you have safedinar.com. You also have, let's see what else. eBay is one place, or you can just Google it. And another place that a lot of people don't know about is your local coin shop. Sometimes people who own estates have family members in their bloodline that collected different currencies, because people just love collecting currencies from different countries. And some people, older people, knew that if you collect currencies, later on those currencies would revalue and they would become very wealthy once those currencies would revalue or go up in value or be reinstated back to their normal value based on the resources that back those countries or back the currencies. So a lot of people through estate sales will sell back their currencies to your local coin shop. And a lot of these coin shops look at currencies as a commemorative collection, merely and only as a collection. They don't necessarily look at it as something that you can exchange for a higher rate and become wealthy. So they will have these currencies on sale for like just a few dollars, family. So look online if you're interested in foreign currencies, but also please check your local coin shop. You will find them so cheap at the coin shop that it will just like make your head spin like, what? You got Iraqi dinars? You got a $25,000 note for like $5 or $10 when their cost right now $50 to $100 per note. And some places they've sold out altogether. Thank you so much for the cash out, Tristan. I love you so much. You always take care of me. So family, go to your local coin shop. Don't only get silver and gold from there, or sterling silver or constitutional silver, which people erroneously call junk silver, since we're moving into the golden age, but consider currencies, foreign currencies, Iraqi dinar, Afghanistan currency, the Afghani. What else? Venezuelan bolivar, all types of Zim. I've even seen Zim notes. I went to a coin collector's extravaganza where they were showing off their different currencies and selling precious metals and, just showing off their collections. Different collectors from all over this region in northern Florida. They were selling Zim notes for a few dollars, $100 trillion notes, because to them it's just a collector's item. But for you, it can be an item that will be an answer to many of your issues. It can be wealth. Let's see. Oh, some people want to, 126 people are requesting to join my live. How do you do that? I don't know how to answer you guys. I don't know how to answer you guys. Hold on. People are, oh, oh, hello. People are requesting to join the live. Hello? Okay. They're asking to join, but when I say you can join, they decline. So anyway, let's get back to the podcast, baby. I'm saying babies because I had my grandbabies. Seasons greetings. Hello. Thank you for the cash app, Sister Della. God bless you, Della N. Smith. I appreciate you so much. Hello, Sister Dorothy. Hello, Sister Barbara. Hello, North Carolina's in the house. I see Sister Tracy says it's good to see me. North Carolina's here as well. Kelvin. Hey, Kelvin. Kelvin and I met years ago. It's good to see you, Kelvin. Thank you for the cash app, Sister Victoria. God bless you. I'm so grateful to you all. If I need to slow down, just let me know because I get excited when I'm talking about this information, family. Dr. K is always on time. Hi, Kathy. Thank you. Happy New Year, Adalea. Wayne says, I love the information. Awesome. It's a rainy day basis. All right. In Ohio, my home state. Yes, Annabella, I'm saying the Pope was opening up doors for wealth transfer. Absolutely. And I'll show you why I say that. Abundance New Year to you too, Empress. Okay, I want to give you all a shout out and do the information at the same time. So forgive me for taking a little bit longer than I probably should. Vanessa says Grand Rising. It's raining in Columbus. Wow, it's raining here in Northern Florida as well. Hi, S Peaks. Walter Darrow says, good day at Grand Rising. I love you too, Sister Vanessa. Thank you for blessing me. It's sunny in Louisiana. Hello, Ron. Mama Kia, hi. Mama Kia's in the house. Shundin says, Mama Kia, high rise. Greetings, everybody. Greetings of joy. Sister Nikki said, it has been raining in Atlanta too. I wonder what they're trying to spread through the air, she says. Phoenix, Arizona's in the house. Hi, Curiosity. Sister Valerie says, good afternoon, Dr. Kia. And Ronell Bay is in the house. Hello, love and peace from Connecticut. Thank you for the cash app, Theo R. Woodford. Thank you. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. I want to get y'all this juicy information. Wisconsin's in the house. Hi, Constance. Let's go. Let's get this information out. Hawaii's in the house. Hi, Crystal. She says Hawaii loves you. Crystal, I can't wait to introduce you all to someone from Hawaii who has information about wealth that has been held up in Hawaii to help liberate the Hawaiian people. It's amazing information that's been shared with me. Miami, Florida's in the house. Hi, Shandin. Oh, good afternoon, Mike. It's always good to see you. And my friend, my handsome friend, brother Tony Steps is in the house. He says, I love you, Kia. I love you as well. I missed you all too. Hi, Magda. It's good to see you. Divine greetings to you, Sister Divine Abundance. I think that's sister, excuse me. Ian, hello. It's good to see you too. Good afternoon, Martin. All of you are so amazing. Atlantic Coast, Canada is in the house. The Atlantic Coast of Canada. Hello. So some of you are asking to join the live, and I'll be more than happy to bring you on. Let's see. Jason is in the house. Peace and love, Denaya. It's good to see you. Hi, Crystal. Grand Rising. Somebody says I'm glowing beautifully. Thank you. Hello. Hello, everybody on Instagram. Mario says, lovely Dr. Kia. Always a good day and blessed day to see you. So, family, I don't want to keep you too long today. I am going to shout you all out as you check in. But I want to talk about what has been happening around Christmas. Right before Christmas, President Trump came on and did a press conference that was unexpected, actually, from Mar-a-Lago. And during that press conference, he said the golden age for America begins now. That was just a couple days before Christmas, and it was a few days after he had rung the bell, the entering, what is it? He rung the bell of the New York Stock Exchange, the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange, a few days before Christmas. And he said the golden age begins now. One of my friends called me today and said, I actually heard Trump speaking on today on December the 29th. And he said, this is the golden age of America. So they're trying to drop bombs, and they have been doing it since about the 10th of December. So about the 10th or 11th of December, again, I said Iraq actually started celebrating the end of ISIS. And then the 12th day of December, during the 12-12 portal, the 12th day of the 12th month at 9:30 a.m. And when you look at 9 plus 3, it equals 12. So actually on the 12-12-12 portal, President Trump, he rang the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange, and he did so 51 times. I kept rewinding that announcement, or him ringing that bells and counting each bell, and asked myself, why 51? We heard of Area 51. Speaking of Canada, somebody from Canada is here on the live. We've heard that they're trying to bring Canada in as the 51st state, or the 51st actually country, because each state in America is a country. They're trying to bring Canada in as the 51st. And there are many other reasons why he may have rung that bell 51 times. We also know that 5 plus 1 equals 6. 6 represents the family, as it looks like a pregnant woman. 6 is a very powerful and important number to elites, both on both sides, good and so-called bad. When you look at 666, it actually represents 6 neurons, 6 electrons, 6 protons, which is the symbol for carbon, and everything that has life has carbon or melanin, right? So they told you all to be afraid of the 6, when the 6 actually represents humanity or the family. It represents life. It represents carbon. It represents melanin. And there's nothing to be afraid of when you think of the number 6. So 5 plus 1 equals 6. Trump rang that bell, I almost said freedom bell, 51 times. When we looked into the symbolism of the ringing of bells represents victory. It represents freedom. It represents being victorious over slavery. It represents all liberation, all those things that happen to do with us being free from chains, or being free from the grips or the hold of the Illuminati, the deep state, those bloodline elite families that had enslaved the world. So Trump rang those freedom bells or victory bells on December the 12th. Again, it's the 12-12-12 portal. The day after, Iraq celebrated freedom and victory from ISIS or ISIL. Then you had a couple of days later where President Trump made this unexpected announcement from Mar-a-Lago saying the golden age for America starts now. So what else has been happening around this time to let us know that the gates have opened, the floodgates have opened, is that we had this game on Christmas Day. I believe that was on Christmas Day, where we had very, very important teams. I call them important teams, to win these games. So you had the Kansas City Chiefs to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so what I had said before, the game had even come on, was anytime you see the Chiefs, a game with the name of Chiefs or Indian or Moors play, they're going to win the game. Every time since like 2 years ago, when the Chiefs won against the when was it? What did they play? The Eagles. I've been able to predict this correctly because I know that the deep state has lost the war against the benevolent entities that are here to help us win this war. Or the deep state, the bad side, I would say, has lost against the Grand Army of the Republic. So when we saw the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, play against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I said, well, what they're going to do is let you all know that the Chiefs have to win, because the Chiefs on the land now are victorious. The indigenous, autogenous peoples on this plane have won the war. And speaking of plane, you see a lot of planes crashing. You see a lot of information about planes having issues in the news right now, because it's as Ariel on Twitter says, is representative of and symbolic of this whole plane of existence as we know it, that was controlled by the cabal, the deep state, these elite, nefarious family members, has ended. It's crashing. So the Kansas City Chiefs indeed won the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, just as we had predicted. And then the second game was the Baltimore Ravens, who played the game against Houston, Texas. And I said, they're going to win too. And I said, and it would be symbolic of this whole saying, Houston, we have a problem, because Houston is going to lose. And we guessed it right. Well, why did Houston lose against the Baltimores? Because Baltimore's, again, has the word Moors in it. And I know it probably sounds a little weird that I'm saying this. It probably sounds like a little woo-woo, conspiracy theories type of things, but we've been correct, because they're sending messages to each other. The elite families, there are corporate entities, corporations. Corpse means dead. So they may not tell you with their lips what's happening, but they'll use symbols, they'll use rituals, they'll use numbers, they use events, they use staged events, false flag events, black swan events, halftime shows, all of these symbols, events, and rituals to show you, if you're awake, what is happening. So the Chiefs on the land are back in control. This is why they staged that whole Alabama brawl thing. It was nothing but a coded message. My son and I did a 4-hour podcast on that, because people were just going in thinking it was something about blacks against whites. And that was not what that was. The whole Alabama brawl was about how the shipman was at the dock fighting to maintain his place, meaning that maritime law and admiralty law was trying to maintain their stronghold. And so you saw the captain throw up his hat. That was a smoke signal to who? To the Moors, the Aboriginal Americans, the Moors, and the Moors who were out to water came, and this is what the mainstream media said. They moored to shore to come help the captain undock the ship that was at the water, to try to tell them to get off out of that area. So the Moors moored to shore. They would happen to be copper colored or black people, moored to shore to help the captain to undock the ship. Basically letting you know that admiralty law was over, maritime law was over, and now the Moors are mooring to shore to dock their ship on the land and return back to constitutional law. And I said, this was not something that was done by happenstance. This was planned. And the interesting thing is, I said some elite people, secret society people, all were involved. I said the Masons are involved, the Divine Nine secret societies are involved, and people fought me on that. Interestingly enough, though, when you really dig into it, the Moors that were mooring to shore to help this captain move shipman's ship, what are the odds that his name is Shipman, to move undocked shipman's ship from that place to where it was, they were Omega Psi-Phi, the purple and gold. Royalty, purple and gold represents royalty. That's one of the Divine Nine fraternity members that happened to be on board. You can look it up. And one of my friends, who is actually a Omega Psi-Phi Q Dog, said to me, a lot of my Q Dog brothers were there. They didn't do anything wrong. That wasn't staged. They just happened to be there. And I said, you're actually supporting my thesis that the Divine Nine was present. Some of them just happened to be there celebrating at the time in Montgomery, Alabama, but there are high-level Freemasons that are also part of the Divine Nine, that Omega Psi-Phi, that knew what was going on, and they were part of the whole plan, staging this brawl because they're dropping comms. People were getting excited thinking it's about black folks against white folks, but it looked like worldwide wrestling stuff. I said they're dropping comms, letting you know it's the end of admiralty law, maritime law, and a return to the republic and the constitution for the republic, where the Moors or the chief on the land will be back in their proper position. Because before these bloodline families came and overtook our republic, there was already a dynasty here. We already had the Moroccan Empire. The people here were copper colored, the copper colored races found here by Christopher Columbus. That's what the 1828 Webster's definition of American is. Copper colored races found here by Christopher Columbus, but now applied to the Europeans. So I said, they're just dropping comms, letting you know that the deep state that had overtaken the America and the Constitution and the Republic, they're gone. And all the treaties that we had with our European brothers and sisters that had come over here, they're now our treaties will be honored. And the lawful, normal, rightful republic for our Constitution that was based on Iroquois law and the Iroquois people, now that will be honored too. All comms being dropped, communications, codes, okay, coded messages being shared. So the Baltimore Ravens won against Houston, Texas, because we're talking about Baltic Moors. We're talking about the copper collar, autogenous, indigenous people. They had to win against Houston, Texas. It's all comms. It's not about race. It's not even a real game. It's not. It's rigged. They're telling a story. And the reason why they won against Houston, the reason why Houston was selected is because when you think of the H, and I had to give praise to those that have taught me codes. Some of the Moors have, one in particular, one of my Moorish brothers that live in Egypt, which actually is in America, that Tennessee area, taught me about he knows symbology and numbers and codes and all that. And we also talk about gematria and all that. The H represents reversal. So you had the Baltic Moor Ravens play against the Houston Texans, and the Baltic Moors won. Well, the H again represents reversal, and this is why Beyonce, watch that off first, Beyonce, or whoever's playing Beyonce, rode in on a white horse. She rode in on a white horse. We're going to get to the doors opening in a minute. She rode in on a white horse, or a pale horse, because the pale horse or the white horse, according to Revelations, represents one that's bringing death and destruction. So she rode in on a white horse, and you guys know about Behold a Pale Horse, the book that talks about the death and destruction that the deep state had brought upon the people, and some of the stuff that they had intended to bring upon the people, right? So now Beyonce is riding in on a white horse, Behold a Pale Horse, bringing death and destruction to whom? To the Illuminati, the deep state, the cabal. People have asked me, are you saying she's a good person? I'm not saying she's good or bad. I'm saying every celebrity, every politician, every athlete, every mainstream media reporter, every person you see put out in front of you, politicians included, Congress people included, have handlers. They have handlers, and they are used right now to drop coded messages because they're being handled right now by the white hats. And they're dropping messages to the nefarious entities that controlled the world. So why did they choose Beyonce? Couple reasons. Number one, she comes from Texas, Houston, Texas, to be exact. Again, Houston represents reversal, death and destruction that have been brought upon we the people, and particularly in the beginning, death and destruction to the autogenous, indigenous, aboriginal peoples on the planet, has now been reversed. So when she shot her gun and it said bang, it's bang, bang, deep state, now death and destruction to you. Behold a pale horse to you. That's why they chose her from Houston. The H represents reversal. Additionally, you have to consider that they named her Beyonce for a reason. Everything happens, family, for a reason. So why Beyonce? Why is that her name? Think about the 5 aliases of the Moors, or names or titles of the Moors. You have the Bays, the Als, the Els, the Days, and there's another one, Ali's. 5 different titles, right? Al, Bay, El, Day, Ali. Al, Bays. So Beyonce or Bays are the ones that govern the land. So we're bringing out Beyonce. She's being a symbol. One that governed the land on a white horse, bringing death and destruction to the deep state. So you have the bays represent the ones who govern the land. You have the L's, they give the law of the land. You have the Owls, which is the feminine version of the L's. You have the Day, that some people say represent the dirty Moors that enslaved the planet. And then you also have the Alis. The Alis are titles of the one that carries the title of nobility. So why else do you have the number 5 is important here. These 5 titles, well, they're synonymous with, some say, the 5 nations, or what do you call it, the 5 recognized tribes here on the planet or in America that the United States Incorporated represent. So those 5 different titles could coincide with the Moors, the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Creek, and the Seminole. Those are the only 5 recognized nations that the United States Incorporated acknowledge here in America. But it's not only the Native Americans that we see with our eyes, because the Native Americans that are here actually came from Asia. Native mean you come from somewhere else. Natural mean you sprung from the soil. So there's a Native America and Native Americans and natural Americans. I'm talking about these 2 different categories because when you read the language of the Constitution and it talks about who may become a president, it says you have to be natural born. Why did they choose the word natural born and not native born? Because when you're natural born, when you're from the soil, when your people come from the land, you're going to have the best interest of the people at heart as being the president of the country or of a nation. The reason why Kamala Harris may not serve lawfully as a president or vice president, even though they did it anyway, is because she's native born. She was allegedly born in Oakland, California, but her people are not from here. Her people allegedly are from Asia and Jamaica. So she cannot constitutionally serve as president or vice president. These people have committed treason. You have to be natural born and subject to the jurisdiction of the state in which you're born. She's not subject to the jurisdiction of the state alone, okay? Because even if she were born here, her allegiance is to the country of her peoples. So you have to be natural born in order to serve as the president or vice president here. I brought that up because Native Americans that are here are not from here. They're not natural born Americans. They didn't spring from the soil. They're not autogenous. Autogenous means the same dirt that's in the soil is the dirt that's in your colon because you sprung from this place. Okay, the autogenous people, according to the 1828 Webster's definition of American, are the copper-colored races found here by Christopher Columbus that the deep state lied and said came from somewhere else. So so-called Black people, so-called African Americans, most of them are the autogenous Aboriginal AB bloodline from this region, sprung from the soil here. They came from this region. But when you had Walter Plecker and the Census Bureau, certain people, elite family members heading these charges, they changed the categorization or the classification of the autogenous Aboriginal, indigenous, natural born people from being called Aboriginal and indigenous to then changing it to being called Indian, and then colored, and then Negro, and then Black, and then African American. Okay. They did this in order to confuse them and in order to make the children believe that they came from Africa on slave ships. But most people that do their searches, their genealogy, will find that they never came from slave ships. And this truth is coming out. There's a reason why I'm bringing this out. I'm bringing this out because there's a difference between Native Americans and the Aboriginal peoples. The Native Americans, this is like common knowledge. Now you can look it up. They crossed, some people will tell you that they crossed the strip that connected Asia to America. And then some people will come straight out and say they crossed the Bering Strait because they were trying to get away from the nefarious things that was going on to them through wars and all this stuff on their continent in Asia. They were trying to get away from the same things that the Europeans were trying to get away from in Britain when they came to America seeking solace and refuge. And coincidentally, the Moroccans here, remember America, Amorica, Al Maroc. Some people call it Turtle Island. Some people call it Northwest Africa or the North Gate. This empire expanded all throughout Canada, which is why they're trying to bring Canada back, throughout the Caribbean, and all the way up to Africa. The one dynasty. We already had a republic. We already had a country. We already had a nation. We already had governance. We already had wealth. But we welcomed Europeans that came here and acknowledged them as their own nation. And this is why Obama and Trump later on said Morocco was the first people that recognized us as our own nation, because Europeans came here. They had the 13 colonies. They had their own nation. They had their own flag. That red, white, and blue flag is not the flag of America. It is a banner of trade and commerce. They had their own, and the Moroccan dynasty that was here recognized them as their own nation. And in fact, they paid tribute to the Sultan of Morocco, which started right here, was based right here. You can look it up. George Washington pays homage to the Sultan, and many of them did. Many of the people that were presidents here and many of the people that came from Europe paid homage and gratitude, tribute to the Sultan of Morocco and the dynasty that was here. So let's get back to these 5 tribes. The 5 tribes of the Moors that are recognized here by the deep state, the Cabal, the United States Incorporated, the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Creek, and the Seminole. And again, many people say those are synonymous with the 5 titles that the Moors have here or had here: the Els, the Bays, the Alis, the Days, and the Als. So these are the tribes that Andrew Jackson actually took from the people and made them, these 5 tribes, according to my information, walk from Florida to Tennessee and Georgia, and they called that the Trail of Tears. So I'm just bringing that up to say that this number 5 is very, very interesting as it relates to the 5 recognized tribes and the titles that the Moors actually had here. So, but Beyonce is the one that they chose during the halftime festivals or activity to actually bring in a message that it was over for the deep state. She rode in on a pale horse, bringing in death and destruction to them. And again, the H represents reversal. So all of the autogenous indigenous people that were here that became prisoners of war, talking about the Moors, the copper colored races found here by Christopher Columbus, the tribes. There are more than 5, only 5 are recognized. But though the people here became prisoners of war of the deep state. And many people say that the real bloodline families of the deep state that control the 13 bloodlines that we know about are actually Moors, the dirty Moors. So some people call them the Days. They actually copper colored people, brown people, because remember, the whole planet was flooded full of copper colored people, right? So they controlled many dynasties, many peoples. Well, you have some called the dirty Moors that actually did some heinous things to Europeans in Europe. It's common knowledge that they ruled Europe between 711 and 1492 when they got kicked out of Europe and happened to come to America, a group of bloodline Moors. And they brought some Europeans here, many of whom were sex slaves and slaves. And they brought others here to do their bidding. And whereas we recognize them as their own nation and they had their own regions where they inhabited and they, did their selling, their merchants, and had their own flag again, their banner of commerce, the red, white, blue flag that we have come to call the American flag or something similar to it. They were minding their business and we had treaties between us. Well, the research suggests that the bloodline families that Moors, the Baltic Moors, or no, not Baltic Moors, the Brutish Moors, also called the British, who brought the Europeans here, then placed some of our European brothers and sisters that had come here in key places to rule and control certain factions of life, like government. They became and used them as gatekeepers, banking, school systems. What else? Politics, education. I already mentioned that, and different medicine, different areas of our society. But In our mind, we're thinking, oh, it's just a bunch of European people that are over here that's enslaving Americans and, putting in programs of racism and sexism and all of this, not even knowing that it was the so-called dirty Moors that were controlling and handling the Europeans that they brought here to put them in position to enslave or to gatekeep the Aboriginal people here in America. So I've shown you all the list of bloodline families that we know about, like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Clintons, et cetera, et cetera. We know about them, but we didn't know about the bloodline families like the Orsinis as such that I've showed you all many times that controlled that bloodline family. And when you look into that bloodline family, they are copper-colored people that controlled the Europeans that were in power. So it's important to know this information because some people will say it doesn't matter. Truth is always important, because what they did to us is make us think that this was all about racism, black against white, when really it's Moors fighting against Moors, using we the people as collateral and being caught in a crossfire and using us as slaves. Because at the root of the problem is not just it's about Moors against Moors, bloodline against bloodline fighting against each other, but many of them are attached to and are descendants of interdimensional beings that are not even human. Interdimensional beings that came on this planet to enslave this planet, and they've been doing it for eons and centuries, for millennia, in other dimensions on other planets. But this war that had been going on our plane here was so egregious, with all of the sexism, racism, religious factions fighting against politics, making us think there was a difference between the Republicans and the Democrats, having us go at each other. But in addition to that, doing heinous things to our children, right? Eating them, sacrificing them, doing things to their blood, absorbing it in order to make them live longer, because the blood kept them and sustained them as being interdimensional beings. Something in our blood helps these beings. So all of this war, all of this bloodshed, all of this violence, all of this terrorism, fighting, all of it, battling, destruction, death, was so egregious and so horrible on this plane, it was affecting other planes, other dimensions, other planets. And so what we have now is a group of benevolent beings, good beings that are here to help us, that are fighting this war against the bloodline families and those negative ETs or interdimensional beings that had come here to keep us suppressed, to keep us enslaved, so that we can be so confused that we're easily controlled, fighting and bickering amongst each other while they steal the resources, they steal the blood, they steal the organ, they steal the melanin, they steal the carbon, all that for themselves, and enlarge themselves, not only from the blood, the organs, the resources, but also from the psychic energy. As long as they kept us fighting, battling, angry, warring, crying over our missing children, kept us doing low vibrational things like sacrificing our children through the A word, abortion, that, as long as they can keep our vibrations low through those means and through the music, the movies, the television, the false flag events, the black swan events, then we would emit a psychic energy called loosh, Loosh. And these negative entities or these beings that came here actually absorbs loosh. They eat it like it's food to them. It's energy. So all of the stuff that they've done now has been reversed. This is why the Baltimore Ravens battled it out on the field against the Houston Texans. Houston Tech, remember the H represents reversal. So what does the Raven represent? Why did the Baltimore Ravens win? Well, the Ravens, according to many indigenous people, actually represents the spirit of your ancestors watching over you. It represents transformation and inner peace. It represents a lot of beautiful benevolence things like like I said, inner peace, transformation, your ancestors watching over you, and other things. So that symbol won against the Houston Texans. So I hope I'm making sense. At the same time that all this was going on, and by the way, when you think about the let me take a pause here. When you think about the autogenous copper color races that were found here by Christopher Columbus being prisoners of war here rather than just slaves, we didn't come from the transatlantic slave trip. What most likely happened is some of us were actually prisoners of war here, and then we were shipped to Africa, and then some of us came back and were reclassified as African Americans. But I'm not saying that no people came over here from Africa. I'm saying most of the so-called Black people here are autogenous, indigenous, copper color races that were found here. And if you recall them being enslaved since 1619, and according to prophecy, that will happen for 400 years, that means they were supposed to be up in what, 2019? What happened in 2019? That we weren't, not just the copper color races, but all people should have been liberated. Because if you liberate the original, you got to liberate everybody, and everybody they are tied to, all the people that they have treaties with. They unleashed the CV, the COVID. But we were supposed to be liberated after 400 years, and that should have happened in 2019, but it will happen right now by the end of 2024, and it looks like going into 2025. So as we head into 2025, we actually saw the Pope do some very, very interesting things. And I say interesting because a lot of people didn't know this is actually ritual. When you look it up, it says, the articles say that the Pope opened 5 portals. Remember we talked about the 5 tribes that are recognized by the deep state, the 5 Aboriginal tribes of the Moors, the copper colored races, so-called Black people that are here. And we talked about the 5 titles that the Moors have, the Els, the Alis, the Bays, the Days, and there was another one that I'm forgetting, the Als. Well, it was announced that the Pope had opened 5 portals. And the first announcement actually came from Twitter. And there was a gentleman on Twitter, and I can show those of you and you're on Instagram, you won't be able to see this, but there was a gentleman on Twitter who had not announced that the Pope was about to open up 5 miraculous portals. And he said, I wonder what's going on. I'm going to mention him because you'll see that mainstream media tried to then say that he was lying and that this wasn't true. There's a guy by the name of Jay Anderson. He goes by, his @ is the Project Unity. And he said on Christmas Day, was it Christmas Day when he said, or around that time, he said, breaking, the Pope is to open 5 sacred portals on Christmas Eve. So it was before Christmas. This ritual has never been done before, according to him. And he says the door at St. Peter's was sealed shut by a wall of bricks. But on December the 2nd, they were ripped down to ready the door as part of the rite of recognition. He says, starting on December the 24th, the Pontiff will open a series of 5 holy doors throughout the Vatican, including St. Peter's Basilica. This specific ritual, he says, has never been done. We live in very strange times. So all of you that are on Twitter, you have to go to my Rumble page or my YouTube channel at Dr. Kia Pruitt or at Dr. Kia Pruitt Official to actually see that announcement. So once that announcement came on Twitter, it spread through social media. The Pope is going to open up 5 portals, and this has never been done before. So when you would look it up in mainstream, like look it up on Google to see if there were any articles that would support this claim, the articles would say he was lying. They said, we're fact checking this rumor that says the Pope is about to open 5 portals, and it's wrong, it's false. Well, you know, truth has a way of coming out, even if mainstream media lies. And what happened after that, after these fact check stories and articles came out, was then more articles came out to support this claim and to say that this was actually a tradition that has been done since 1300 AD. And so One or two of the articles that I read said that there would be 5 portals open, and it will happen on 5 particular days. And interestingly enough, they're calling this 5 portal opening ceremony or tradition a Jubilee tradition. 5 portals of Jubilee opening. So there's no reason to be worried or upset or think that demonic energy is coming out, being released. No, those 5 portals that are opening is symbolic of the Jubilee season. That's why President Trump said a couple of days ago, the golden age for America starts now. And then today he said, this is the golden age of America. That's why we're hearing different reports and rumors from different countries, like a country in what's that country in South America? Guyana say we're giving all of the people $100,000 in their accounts as long as their nation can prove their nationality and if they're present. And you're hearing different countries talk about a jubilee. I'm not done. I'm going to tell you, they're not just done here talking about the portals being open and being named as jubilee portals. Okay, so they're now calling these 5 portal openings jubilee portals, and they're saying it coincides with us being in a jubilee, a biblical jubilee time, and it's in alignment with us being in right now in this season of a platinum jubilee, the biblical jubilee and a platinum jubilee time. So the portals being open are symbolic of wealth, the wealth transfer, a debt jubilee that will happen. I'm going to show you a mainstream media article that supports this being the time of jubilee. And also, if it has anything to do with negative energy, it's because all the negative energy will have to be absorbed and go out of those portals. Go back into those portals. So you got wealth coming out, negativity going in. Wealth, prosperity, peace, joy, high vibrational frequencies going out, negativity going in those portals, and then the portals were shut for more than 1,000 years. I don't know if you've noticed, but when you go outside, all of the energy, I don't know if you noticed, I had to call my friends, the energy shifted. You know, it's like, this is Christmas season. When I was growing up, you would see like everybody would be outside around Christmas. The kids would be out playing, people would be out shopping, restaurants, even like the day after Christmas would be full, people like engaging in trade. And I'm like, something weird is happening. Not only can people not afford it because economically people are strapped, but it's like a peace that has been released on this plane. Remember I told you planes have been crashing? Read up on how planes are crashing now, because it's symbolizing that this plane as we knew it, the old low vibrational dimensions in which we live, the third dimension, it's crashing, it's crumbling. And those negative entities have left the planet. Remember, people would talk about the NPCs, non-player characters, like it came from a something that happened in the games when people were game. Those are characters that are not controlled by a player. Non-player characters are people that were, or people now not really human, that lived on this planet. People say that 50 to 60% of the population they're not real. They're not real people. They're non-player characters. They're empty seeders, empty shells. Some of them just entities, negative entities. They're not real. And so this could be a reason why you see so few people, less people around. The energy has shifted. I don't know if you can feel it, but if you're really tapped in and tuned in or aware, you see it, you feel it. So I called my friends in Atlanta. I called my friends in Tennessee. I called people that I know in different parts of the nation. I was like, is it just me? Or has something changed? And everybody I called said, no, there's more peace. It's quieter. There's fewer people out than it used to be. Something has changed. And we all came up with the same thing, that a lot of these NPCs and non-player actors or non-player characters have been released from earth, from our existence. Some of them went back underground. Some of them went back into wherever they came from, other dimensions, and the portals were closed. But this just didn't just happen now. Right before Trump left office, the first time left office, because he's been the commander in chief even ever since Biden, and we all know that 2020 elections, we know what happened. That was fraudulent. But I got to be careful because I don't want to get off YouTube again. They'll give me another strike and censor me. They might take me down forever, so I got to be careful. But when he had that huge 4th of July ceremony, I want to say about 2019, it was a big ceremony. He said, we put a whole lot of money into the military and a secret space program. And I don't know if you guys remember that, but they did a very big air show with the military. Trump did a very amazing speech, and he talked about why we were having this huge celebration during Independence on the 4th of July. But he made this statement that really caused me to pause and take note. He said, we've poured into the military and the secret space program, and we've done everything in our power to secure the skies. So when we did the gematria on that speech and we looked at it and we listened intuitively, we understood and overstood that he was saying we secured the portals. We took out a lot of those negative entities and closed the portals. So that began, or at least it was happening on a large scale in 2019, and he was celebrating that during the 4th of July. Even Trump has a handler. Even he is being controlled by entities. I hope in my mind, it looks like benevolent entities. But when I say he has handlers, he has to do certain rituals to let us know what's really going on. And when you're awake, when you can see, when you're in tune, then you understand and overstand it. Because remember, God is a frequency. All you have to do is tune in to the God frequency. Tune in to the high vibrations that come from source, and you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. So let's bring it back to today. The articles state that starting on December the 24th, the pontiff or the Pope, according to the article, will open up a series of 5 holy doors throughout the Vatican. And this is symbolic of something else that was really going on in the spiritual realm and in our realm. So it says, the article says, he will open up a series of 5 holy doors through the Vatican, including St. Peter's Basilica, plus Rome's other basilicas, to commence next year's Catholic Church Jubilee, a joyful commemoration of faith that normally occurs every 25 years. So it will begin on December the 24th, which was the New Year's Eve. And then the second one, it says, after the Christmas Eve ritual, and it tells you it's a ritual, Pope Francis will open another symbolic door inside the Roman prison. And that Roman prison is called Rebibia. And he will do that on December the 26th. This is the second portal opening. That will occur on the feast of St. Stephen. So when you read another article that will explain that, because remember the scripture says line upon line upon line, precept upon precept, little here and a little there. You have to line up different things in order to get a full understanding, full picture of what's going on. You look up other articles, they would suggest that the reason why he opened up that second door at a prison was because it's symbolic of setting the captives free. Opening the doors of captivity to set the slaves free. That's what it's symbolic of. The Pope is only being used. He has a handler. You have a white Pope, a gray Pope, and a black Pope. It has nothing to do with races. But the black Pope and the white Pope, people know about. They don't know about the gray Pope that controls them all. And those 3 popes all have handlers. And their handlers ain't people with light skin and very little melanin. Those handlers, a lot of them are dark complected big people. Okay. And their handlers are non-human entities. So let's get back to the second door. You had one door that was open on the 24th, New Year's Eve. And then you had the second door that was open on December the 26th. The door that opened up, that was a symbolic door open at the Roman prison Rabibia. The third door will be open on December the 29th, which is today actually. The article states that Pope Francis will open the holy door at Rome's Basilica St. John Lateran, of which he is also the bishop. That's on today. And then on New Year's Day, which is also a holy day of obligation, or the Solemnity Feast of Mary, that holy door will be open at the Papal Basilica of St. Mary's Major outside the Vatican in Rome. Then lastly, articles suggest the fifth and final door is called what is it called? He will open the fifth and final holy door at the Papal Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls in Rome. So the last one will be on Sunday, January the 5th. The last door that will open. When you read further into other articles, they will tell you that these doors symbolize the Jubilee, a time of release, a time of celebration, a time of victory, a time of freedom, a time of liberation. Interestingly enough, they're talking about a Jubilee, freedom, victory, liberation. And we just heard President Trump say that this is the golden age of America. The golden age of America starts now. And we saw him ring the bells, the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange at the 12-12-12 portal on December the 12th at, I will call 12 o'clock because it happened at 9:30. 9 plus 3 equals 12. Again, you look up what ringing a bell represents or commemorates. It is a tradition. It is symbolic of declaring victory, freedom, liberation. All of this happening around the same time. So the 5 doors, excuse me, I need to get out of that article. I was hoping you guys could see that. The 5 doors that the Pope is opening, again, those are 5 portals that represent Jubilee, wealth and abundance that will be released upon the people and the planet. Remember, Beyonce, a Moor, she's literally a Moor, okay? She's brown complected. She comes from a Moorish bloodline, and she has the name as one that controls the land, Bey. She came out in a white horse. Behold, a pale horse bringing death and destruction. You've read the book. You've seen articles about it. You know about Revelations, the pale horse in Revelations, bringing death and destruction. From Houston, H represents reversal. No more to we the people, no more to the Moors, no more to the Aboriginals, no more to the autogenous people in America, but to the deep state. Now reversing the death and destruction and all of things they've done to us, now is being reversed. It's happening to them. So now you're going to start reading articles and hearing things about even more unalivements. They're going to start dropping. They're going to be unalive. You're going to start seeing them fleeing, and they're already fleeing the country. Okay, you're going to see a disappearance of Hollywood. You're going to see a disappearance of many of these elite athletes, a disappearance of these games because the owners of them were not human. A disappearance of banks because the CEOs were not human. You're going to see a disappearance and a collapse of corporations, dead entities that were controlling people. All these corporations, these big old conglomerates that overtook mom and pop shops, now have become monopolies. They're going to crash. Their CEOs weren't even human. That's why no matter how hard you work, how many college degrees you got, you could not, for some reason, ascend to the place of being a CEO unless you was a CEO of your own company. And that's what we're going back to. You're going to be a CEO of your own life, a CEO of your own bank, a CEO of your own family, a CEO of your own company, a CEO of your own property, your own intellectual property, because now that all these negative entities are leaving, and many of them have already left, whether you call them non-human, interdimensional beings, extraterrestrials, NPCs, non-player characters, empty seaters, most of them are gone. Even when things get back to normal and the Christmas season is over, people go back to work, people go back to school, you're going to still feel this energy of peace. And you're going to see fewer people on the planet because they're gone. They have escaped or they have been forced off of our plane. So this is a wonderful time to be alive. The doors are springing open. The doors of jubilee, the doors of wealth, the doors of abundance, the doors of peace, the doors of good health, the doors of integrity, all of that. Creativity, they're all opening. And so this is a perfect time and a perfect opportunity for you and me to create. So markets are going to crash most likely. As a matter of fact, they're not telling you that the housing market crash has already happened. Hundreds and thousands of homes are being dumped back onto our back into the market. Interestingly enough, do you know people that work in banking don't know this information? I was talking to somebody the other day, very fine gentleman, by the way, about this, and he was like, "Oh no, that'll never happen. Well, houses would be dumped back onto, back into the markets, and we'll never see low interest rates again." And I said, "Sweetheart," and I'm telling you all this because the information we know, even people that are in these industries, they don't know. I had, "Sweetheart, Evergrande is the largest real estate company that's owned by China. The largest Chinese real estate company filed bankruptcy a year and a half ago here in America. Evergrande filed bankruptcy and they were forced to liquidate. So all of those houses are going to be dumped back onto the market." Another thing that he and even people in real estate don't even know is BlackRock and many of these other Blackstone, BlackRock, Cornerstone, whatever, all of them, it's only about 5 of them. Here we go with the 5 that bought up a lot of these homes and then did just a little to no work in those homes and that priced them so high that we the people couldn't afford them. And so since we couldn't afford to own them, a lot of us was renting them and we needed a place to stay after COVID. So they raised the rents. A lot of people don't know that Blackstone, BlackRock, and all of them companies are now having financial problems. Okay, so what they're doing now is they're forced to lower the rents. If you do enough digging, you can find it. I've listened to many of the gentlemen who are in the Florida market in Southern Florida that's actually leaking this information. And they're saying that the rents are slowly going back down. I'm telling you this because a lot of these entities that own BlackRock, that own these big corporate companies that bought up all of these houses and made the rent so high that we couldn't live. And now we have a high poverty rate and a high homelessness rate. A lot of them, some of them are filing bankruptcy. A lot of them they haven't even gotten there yet to file bankruptcy because their CEOs have been dealt with, taken off the planet. And the human people that they put in place have gone through military tribunals. It just hasn't leaked yet. But I'm telling you, you're going to see a housing market collapse where a lot of houses will be dumped right back on the market. But that's a good thing in a sense for those of us who are looking for a home. Now, it'll be a bad thing for some people, but if you can, try to look at whatever positive you can get out of it. If more houses are being dumped back onto the market, it will force the prices of the houses to come down, and then you will be able to buy a home. And you won't have to get a credit line to do it. You won't have to go into debt to do it. Why? Because we're moving to the gold standard. How can you say that, Dr. Pruitt? Because the standard, being gold, using gold and silver as money, is constitutional. It's not just BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa that have waged a war against the United States dollar, against the fiat banking system. It's not just BRICS that has done that, said we're not using the dollar. We're dropping the dollar for trade. We're using our own country's currencies that's backed by gold, silver, palladium, platinum, and other resources, as well as rare earth minerals to back our currencies. It's not just them. America has lots of gold. Along the Grand Canyon, we have gold. In the Grand Canyon, we have gold. Excuse me. In the Grand Canyon, we have gold. Where else? Along the Colorado River, in many of the different forts, we have it in the tombs and in the mountains of not just Arizona, but in some of these other, Egypt, which is Tennessee, has a lot of gold. There are lots and lots of places where we have gold, and we have the most amount of rare earth minerals than any other nation in this world. Just last summer, in the state of Wyoming alone, they found, my family's trying to call me. I have to get off shortly. They found, was it like 2.34 billion metric tons of rare earth minerals. So we have the wealth here, family. That will back up the new currency that we're going to be using. Whatever currency that's going to be, the rare earth minerals, the gold, the silver, all of that. We have it here in America. Simultaneously, all the states, 45 states in America, have repealed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. By repealing the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals, you are acknowledging silver and gold as money. When you remove or repeal state sales taxes, you're saying you can no longer use silver and gold or see it as a commodity or a collector's item. Now you have to acknowledge it as constitutional money in alignment with Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution for our republic here in America. So yes, BRICS is coalescing against not America, but they're coalescing against the United States Incorporated, which is the neo or faction of the Roman Empire. The bloodline families that usurped authority from here, they are coalescing or warring against the deep state's monetary system, the SWIFT system, banking system, the central banking system. So BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, have now recruited almost every single nation on this planet to join them in dropping the dropping the United States dollar. It's BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa coalition, and it's the Shanghai Corporation that has also the Asian nations that have done that. And then in America, we have repealed or removed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals in alignment with Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution for our republic that says the only thing that can be used to pay off debt is silver and gold. And our Constitution defines the dollar as a fixed weight in silver. Then you had lawmakers such as Alexander Mooney, which if you take out one O is money. Everything they do is symbolic. Alexander Mooney from West Virginia. Thank you for the cash app. I appreciate you. God bless you. I have a smile on you. Alexander Mooney introduced House Resolution 5404 in 2019. He came back in 2022 with House Resolution 9157. And then in 2023, he came back with House Resolution 2435. And he called all of those the Gold Standard Restoration Act. The first one in 2019, Alexander Mooney introduced himself. And then the second and third one, he introduced along with Andy Briggs and Paul Gosar. I think they're both of Georgia. At least one of them are of Georgia. So those three legislators introduced the Gold Standard Restoration Act, which will define the dollar as a fixed weight in gold. And the reason why they're doing this as legislators is because each state operates according to our republic, as a country, as its own nation. So they have the ability and the power and authority to create laws for their nation, for their state. So what they are saying is we're no longer going to participate in the fiat system that's attached to the United States Incorporated. Thank you, Chief Mac. I love you. I love you so much for the Cash App blessing. They're saying no longer are we acknowledging the fiat dollar. Okay. At the same time, all this is happening. I'm telling you, the floodgates have been opened for your prosperity, wealth, and peace and joy. The Supreme Court of the United States ruled this summer that state-sponsored banks can now operate independently from the Federal Reserve central banking system. And state-sponsored banks can have their own charter, their own rules, their own regulations. And I'll do you one better. Each state-sponsored bank can issue out their own gold-backed currency. The floodgates are open. This is why all over the world, countries were repatriating their gold back from the Vatican. And you see articles that talk about all the gold that was confiscated from the Vatican and repatriated back to the countries that owned it. So state-sponsored banks have the power to operate independently from the Central Reserve central banking system because the Central Reserve central banking system is nefarious and enslaved us through debt. They exacted usury or interest rates on us. They stole from our birth certificate bond and all of our securitized bonds that were attached to the trust that each of us were supposed to be able to use to offset our debts. So now the state-sponsored banks are autonomous. They can do what they want to do as long as they comply with the Constitution. Another reason why legislatures are doing things like repealing the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals and they're rejecting CBDC, central bank digital currencies. Many states have ruled that as unconstitutional. You have states that are also saying we don't want abortion A in our states. I mean, they're making certain decisions. So if you like certain decisions, you need to work at the state level because each state operates as a country according to our republic. States have done a lot of things that are working on our behalf. But again, if you like it, stay abreast of what's going on. Thank you so much for the Cash App blessing. Phyllis, God bless you. I appreciate you. States are operating on our behalf. So work at the state level. Again, each state is its own country. You have its own lawmakers. We have their own flag. We have our own way of doing things. As a matter of fact, DeSantis has given money to like a lot of fathers. Many fathers who didn't have jobs, which happen to be males classified as Black. He's given money to all of those different agencies and groups and clubs and corporations or even small businesses that help men classified as Black. He gave a whole lot of money and was able to do that because states can do that to support families. Because he said, if we can help the fathers get their lives together, we can give them money to come off drugs, give them money if they're coming out of prison, give them money to educate them, give them money to learn skills, give them, not just give them money, but pour money into different agencies that are helping them, then now they can support their families. States are able to do that. Florida is doing stuff like that. Another thing Florida did that a lot of women don't like, but I strongly support, is him ending this whole thing with women that get alimony forever throughout their life. It's not fair. Thank you for the Cash App blessing, Norma Salazar. I appreciate you. God bless you. It's not fair for a man to build up all his wealth and have to support a wife if they're divorced for the rest of her life while she's also working. Like, this is what the state of Florida agreed with. If you don't agree with it, then you need to work at the state level and put pressure on your state regulators, lawmakers, or whatever, or become one. But here in the state of Florida, no more can a woman leech off of a man that she's been divorced from, which I strongly support, because if you say you're strong, you're independent, you're equal to a man, you don't need a man, you're believe and support feminism. And I get it. Trust me. You can work like a man. You're a boss chick. And why should you be able to do all that? And we're equal now. And you work and make as much or more money. Why should he support you throughout the rest of your life? So what we said is, in the state of Florida, yes, he can support you for a time, but not for the rest of your life. And we'll do that on a case-by-case basis. All I'm bringing out to you is that each state is now operating as its own country. This is proof that the republic has been restored. This is proof that all the negative entities that were controlling things, they have been done away with for the most part. The head, got to cut it off, cut the snake off at the head, then the rest will shrivel away. We're not going to allow them to grow another head or another tail. So family, the floodgates are opening, and I would encourage you to use this as a great opportune time to get into certain markets. Like I said, over 45 states have removed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals, thus acknowledging silver and gold as money. I've been saying this for years. I've been shouting it for years. Some people would negate me. And some people at high levels, some people in banking, some financial people, even unfortunately, some people that believe in gold and silver as money. Some of them would negate me because either they didn't know it or because they didn't want us to know. Okay, because if we don't know about silver and gold being a store of wealth, a hedge against inflation, and being what Andy Schectman actually told us on our podcast is not just an investment. And Doug said, don't look at it as an investment. Look at it as wealth, something you can pass on to your children, to your posterity. Well, a lot of people didn't want us to know that silver and gold are real money, that it's tangible wealth, something you can pass on, something you can preserve. So while silver and gold prices are down, Go to your local coin shop and local coin company and get silver and gold, or call Miles Franklin. That's with whom I was an affiliate, or call somebody else and get silver and gold. But those of you that want Miles Franklin's number is 952-929-7006. And just let them know that we called you on the Dr. Kia Pruitt show. We sent you, and you will get the best prices in the industry. If you don't want to do that, it doesn't matter to me. Get sterling silver. Sterling silver is 92% silver. Get constitutional silver or junk silver. They call it junk. It's 90% silver. Those are coins that were minted before 1964. Use this as a buying opportunity while the houses are being dumped on the market, to keep watching it, because it's going to, more houses are going to be dumped on the market, more and more, to buy a house. Wait until you see the price that you want, and then go, because more houses are going to be dumped. These prices will come down. This is prophecy, I'm telling you, but this is prophecy based on studying markets and understanding and overstanding, as my son is a broker. He was a broker in the state of Florida, Georgia, and Kentucky. Watching the market, studying economics myself, having another son that's an economist, working towards a master's degree in economics, having a bachelor's degree in economics, political science, sociology, and psychology. So studying, this is like informed information. The houses will be dumped back onto the market. Use this as a buying opportunity. You might not have the money now, but you might have enough money to buy Iraqi dinar. You might have enough money to buy a $10,000 Iraqi dinar note. You might have enough money to buy a Zim bond note, because the Zim bonds at the top on the left, top right left, says this is a promise to pay the bearer upon demand. This is a promise to pay a bearer upon demand. So you might have enough money to buy an Indonesian rupiah note. Some of these notes are not expensive. You might have enough money to buy a gold Arum notes. And I've been screaming this for years. People would say, oh, you keep talking about gold and silver. I can't afford it. Some people would just say, I trust your word, Dr. Key. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to take I have an IRA. I'm going to roll it over into a gold IRA, and I can take some of that gold into my possession. Some people would do that. Or some people say, I got a couple dollars. I got a savings here. I'm going to roll it over into metals, because as the dollar decreases in value, silver and gold increase in value. Now, they were suppressing the prices of silver and gold, so you couldn't tell that it was actually more valuable than what you saw on the screen. But basic economic principle, as the dollar loses value, and you saw that with all that money printing, it losing value, gold and silver were increasing value. So some people went and got silver and gold, or put their savings into silver and gold, and they let it grow. Because in 2017, when I first started talking about this, silver was $14 an ounce. Well, it hit an all-time high a couple months ago, not an all-time high, but a high of $34. So if you had gotten it in 2017 and held it until earlier this year, 2024, 7 years, you would have seen a nice little return. But many economists say that gold and silver will shoot through the roof. One of the things economists have said is that in order to pay off the debts here in America, you have to revalue gold to somewhere between $10,000 an ounce and $100,000 per ounce. Gold right now is like $2,500, $2,600 an ounce, but it will be revalued. It will again come down, because everything, kind of levels out or corrects itself, but gold and silver will increase in value. And then you had some that were upset that I was talking about gold and silver, because they were like, a lot of us are poor. We can't afford it. And I told them then, look into gold Arum notes. Back then, when I was saying that, from 2017 all the way up to 2023, you could find gold Arum notes for $6. Gold Arum notes now have gone up to almost $50. Okay. And I kept saying, instead of saying what you can't do, we have to say to ourselves, we have to ask ourselves, what can I do? Or how can I? Now, some things are just not within your budget, but a gold Arum note is 24 karat gold, real gold, that's placed onto a note. You can use those notes in certain states to buy local goods and services, and it's completely lawful. Before this whole time period came up, where Trump was talking about the gold standard and we've been talking about the gold standard, there were already 13 states that had gold Arum notes. There was, some of them included Utah, Wyoming, what else? Maybe Kansas. I can't remember all the states. 13 states had already legalized silver and gold as legal tender, where you can buy local goods and services with gold RM notes, and with gold and silver. But just because it hadn't hit mainstream media doesn't mean it's not true. I brought forth articles that said this, like in 2020, I was showing people this. Gold RM notes is one inexpensive way of actually owning gold, because that 14 karat gold that's on a note is something like 1/1000th of a gram of gold, something like that. Again, you can use these gold RM notes to buy local goods and services. So for all my family that's on Instagram, I'm going to have to let you go, because I think I only have a certain amount of time on Instagram. I have to let you go in a few minutes, but if you want to come on, just let me know. You can come on, you can say your piece. So what happened recently, like about a week ago, is that in the state of Florida, we announced that we will be releasing gold RM notes, and they will come out January the 15th, 2025. I'm telling you, the floodgates are opening, where you will be able to buy local goods and services with this gold RM notes. Right now, you can get on a waiting list at, I think it's called metosmint.com, and you can get on that list in order to be notified when the gold comes in. I think you can pay ahead of time. So family, I'm just saying all this to say that we are moving towards a gold standard. Well, silver and gold will be used as money. We are opening up and have opened up the floodgates of heaven, the floodgates of wealth, the floodgates of prosperity. You have to know that. So while the prices of silver and gold have gone down, use this as an opportunity to buy some if you're interested, or to get on a waiting list. At least get a gold RM note. Why? You're what? Thank you, Aaron says, keep spreading the good news. Wow, some of these currencies that you are interested in are on sale. Go to eBay. If you don't trust eBay, look for the companies, the well-known companies that are selling on eBay, because Banknote World sells on eBay. 100trillions.com, 100 trillions with an S.com sells on eBay at a lower price than they sell on their websites. And those notes will come with a certificate of authenticity. Peace, Denial L. So when you look on eBay or Amazon, you can look for certain currencies, and you can put beside that currency, like you can put IQD or Iraqi dinar, then beside it put COA, or write it out, certificate of authenticity, and it will bring up only those notes that have a certificate of authenticity. This is only for those who are interested. Peace to you too, happy being me. What's the website for what exactly, sister, happily being me? If you're talking about, can you put it in the comments which website you need, sister? If you're talking about gold and silver, you can get it from Miles Franklin at 952-929-7006, or you can send an email to info at symbol Miles Franklin, MILESFRANKLIN.com, and say Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, and you get the best prices in the industry. If you're talking about currencies, where can you get currencies? You can get currencies from 100trillions.com, eBay, Amazon, Banknote World, Great American Coin Company, Safe Dinar, and others. You can Google it. Oh, you said the waiting list. Okay, so the waiting list for gold RM notes is, did I say Metals Mint? What is it called? Metals Mint. I'm gonna look it up for you. I think it's Metals Mint. Yep. I think it's metalsmint.com. Let me show you right here. Okay, I'm at metalsmint.com. Let me look up gold. Goldbacks. Gold RM notes, AURUM, are also called goldbacks, family. So whatever state you're in, you can find those. The goldback. So that was Utah, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Nevada had goldbacks. Wyoming have had goldbacks for a long time. And now, ooh, Florida go. I'm clicking on metalsmint.com, sister, and I see Florida goldbacks, but I'm trying to click on it, won't let me open it. Here we go. Okay, so you click on Florida on metalsmint.com, it'll say you can get a quote and submit your request. But I'm going to show you a direct link. I have a direct link to Metals Mint that will allow you to, what is that? I don't want that on there. You're welcome. Somebody says, thank you for your great work. Metals Mint, we have a direct link to that waiting list. Let me see if I can find it for you. Metals Mint. Trust me, I'm on that waiting list. Okay. Oh, no, that's my account. Dang. It's metalsmint.com, but I don't see the direct link yet. She says, okay. It works good. Banknote World comes with a certificate of authenticity. You're welcome. Happy being me. Yes, it is metalsmint.com. I'm just looking for that direct link. If you check back on my Rumble channel or my YouTube channel, I'll put that direct link in the comment section. And family, everything I'm talking about right now that had articles to support my claims or just to be a resource for you, I'm going to put that in the description section for you. Thank you, Brother Mario. So family that's on Instagram, I think I only have about an hour on Instagram to go live. And I don't want you all to get cut off. So I would ask that you either go to the Rumble or YouTube channel in a few minutes. I'm going to turn it off here. Hello, everybody. And let me see if that's it, family. Let me see if there was anything else I needed to talk about. Oh, on tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Monday, December the 30th at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will have my great friend Mel to come here from XRPQFS Team 1 to come on and talk to you all about digital assets like XRP, XLM, and other digital assets. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when there was an announcement made that RLUSD is now trading the stable coin. People was asking me, what does that mean? And if that means is it good for XRP? Is it good for digital assets? Can I tell you more about digital assets? And I told, hi, Candace. Candace from Juicebox is here. Hi, Candace. Oh, Candace is gorgeous. She can sing like an angel. I used to go to Juicebox almost every day and get my fruit smoothie, and she makes the best. I'll be like, don't let nobody else make my smoothie because you know just how I make it, just how I love it. So hi, Candace. Thank you for being here. I love you, sister. Her companion does research and does things to help you discover information about your genealogy. So you guys see her right here on the screen. She goes by Candake Rena. Candace from Juicebox. She's on Facebook. Look for her if you want to dig into your genealogy because her companion can help you with that. He's helped a lot of people and a lot of indigenous peoples discover which tribe they come from and just information about their bloodline, which is so important for people that just want to know where you come from and who you are. So thank you for being here, Sister Candace. Hi, Frisco, Sister Gwendolyn. So this is a buying opportunity. The notes are cheaper. A lot of sales. When I first got into the knowledge of Iraqi dinars, to buy 25,000 notes used to cost you $126. Then it went up to $150. Then it went up to 200 and something. Some of these notes, to get $100,000 worth of the Iraqi dinars can cost you way more than $250. Now, I saw recently, like yesterday, I saw a sale for like $99 on 4 Iraqi dinar notes. And some people don't have that in their budget. I'm just telling you, they're doing a lot of sales. It make me wonder if they're trying to get rid of these currencies before they just shut it all down. These are buying opportunities. You can get an aggro check, Zimbabwean aggro check from Etsy even. Etsy, eBay, Amazon, different places. So look up Zimbabwe AgroCheck for just a couple of dollars. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying use these opportunities as a way to be able to store wealth for your family members and to make investments for later on. Also, with all these corporate entities shutting down. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you from California. Hi, Jennifer Rose Miranda. A lot of these corporations shutting down and filing bankruptcies is an opportunity for you and me to create our own mom and pop shops, to create our own restaurants, our own stores, to sew our own clothes and sell them, to create beauty salons, barber shops, car maintenance, what do you call them, places. Like, we can do this. You don't have to go to Walmart to get all your needs met. Unfortunately, Walmart like overtook almost everything in the market. First, you could just buy, what was it, just clothes in there? Then they start selling food. Then they start doing maintenance on cars. Then they had nail salons. Now they have clothes, like boutiques in some of them, barber shops, hair salons. They tried to take over every single industry just about in terms of what you can buy in terms of household supplies and products for you and your family, so that you would not use your own creative powers and intellect to do it yourself. And now you can't make money, but you're spending all your money working as a consumer to give them all of your money. Well, all of them are, many of them, or most of them are being destroyed with these portals that have opened to bring them in, which that happened a while ago, and then they shut the portals up. Remember, I said Trump made an announcement. We've done everything that we can to secure the skies. A lot of these negative entities are gone. What we have to do now is we have to start using our creative power as God beings. Sometimes some people don't understand when I say God beings. If you're a Christian, the Bible literally says in at least two places, you are gods. One says ye are gods, and another one says, did not your forefathers say that ye are gods? So your God, use your God energy. The law of oneness says that we're all source. We'll all have source living in us. We all came from source and we'll return to source. Use this opportunity while everything is being decimated to create your own wealth, to buy these notes so that when the exchange rate is, when it revalues or is reinstated to many of these countries' currencies back to its normal rate before war, before sanctions were put on those countries, now a note that you bought for just a few dollars could turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars. This is something that has happened throughout history before. One of the most recent times was in 1991 when the Kuwaiti dinar revalued and was reinstated back to its normal place. So I don't have enough time to teach about, hi, Sister Taraji, it's good to see you, all of what that means. But for all those of you that are new, when America would cause war, declare war against a nation, not America, the United States Incorporated, not the country, the corporation, these bloodline families that have, pretend to be a government, they would fund both sides of the war, and it would decimate those countries' economy. If they didn't put war on those countries or declare war, they would just put sanctions on those countries, and that would decimate their economy and the value of their currency. So they would either decimate it through war or through putting sanctions on them. The people high up that were in the know, like people high up in military, politicians, some celebrities, CEOs of banks, etc., would buy those countries' currencies that have been decimated through sanctions or war, while the value of those countries' currencies had been decimated and decreased or devalued, buy it at a very cheap level. Thank you for the cash up. And then after war, America would bring the troops out, and then they would come back in and rebuild the infrastructure of those nations, rebuild the nations right back up after they tore it down. And then the nations would start to do a little better. The GDP or gross domestic product will go up, and the value of the currency will also go up in value. So those who bought the country's currencies, once they had been devalued the war at a cost, because before war, they might have been higher than Americans' currency, but through war, now they might have been $3 to our $1. Now they're 6 cents. So they buy those currencies when they're real cheap. After the war, everything's rebuilt. America builds up the infrastructure. Then you take that currency that now revalues after the war, everything's doing, economy's booming, doing better. You take those notes that you bought from Kuwait or wherever to the bank. Now it has a new valuation placed on it. It's been reinstated back to its normal value or even value higher. Now you might have bought it for just a couple of dollars and it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So even if you bought it you might have bought a Kuwaiti dinar at 6 cents. I'm just throwing out a number, but the rate was $3 to our $1. They were doing better. But then through war, it might have been decimated to 6 cents. You bought it real cheaply. Now it's revalued back to $3 or $3.15, $3.65, whatever it is. You go and you say to the bank, oh, I want to exchange this dollar for my currency now. Well, the exchange rate has increased after the war. And so those people that knew about it, they became millionaires and billionaires overnight, family. Well, the deep state didn't want us to know about that information, but the Most High did. And the benevolent beings and the Grand Army of the Republic that's working for our freedoms wanted us to know, and that's why we know. So we've been on 2 hours. Actually, I see 1,494 people in the chat. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you will, and send the video to your friends, family. Will the Bill Gates and CCP be buying up a lot of farmland? No, because the CCP, for the most part, has been decimated. And you can read an article from 2 years ago, that 2022, that says 400 million people defected from the Communist Party. I did a podcast on that many times, defected from the Communist Party. So there will be no CCP for the most part. Where's that? 400 million defect from the CCP. And they had a ceremony or celebration of it called Tai Dong. But also the CCP that owned the largest real estate company, let me go to Google, called Evergrande, they filed bankruptcy in the United States and they were forced to liquidate. So no, the CCP will not be able to buy up land. Let's see, 400 million. And neither will, who else did you say? The Gate people? Okay, 400. Yeah, it was August the 3rd, 2022. 400 million million people renounced communism. They left the CCP. It doesn't exist anymore for the most part. I think this is a Zero Hedge article. If you're here, you won't be able to see it on Instagram, but you can see it here on my other social media platforms from which I'm streaming. It's a Zero Hedge article. It says a debt jubilee of biblical proportions. Oh, that's another one. Hold on. We already read that one. That's another. Hold on, family. It's this article here that says 400 million people. Here we go. Have renounced communism. This was out of the Vision Times article publication. It says Chinese Tai Dong movement counts 400 million people who have renounced communism. And it goes on in the article to talk about how they celebrated in Times Square in New York this victory of 400 million people, saying they no longer want to be a part of the Communist Chinese Party. Most of them didn't want to be a part of it anyway, but they felt forced to for whatever reason. But the article will explain that for you, and I'll put that in the description section for you. Bill Gates is dead, so no, he won't be buying it. Hi, Tristan again. He won't be buying up farmland. He's already been dealt with and judged. There may be actors playing him, but he's gone. Everything's being returned back to we the people. Everything. Kathy says it's storming in South Carolina. I'm listening to my favorite, Dr. Kia, watching it storm by the beach. Thank you, sister. Marie Lester says, I have a beautiful personality. Is there anybody that wants to join before we leave? I can send you a link. Where's this link? I'm going to invite you to link. Copy. It's copied. I'll put the link in the chat. I mean, it's Sunday, it's raining. If anybody wants to talk, feel free. Banknote World, they say, have an Change of America or Exchange of America have good rates on currencies. They're saying, thank you for the Cash App blessing. What else are you guys saying? A lot of people like Banknote World. Oh, Exchange of America. Thank you. Oh, they're helping you, family, if you want to know where to buy some of these currencies. Um, Somebody says look for currency exchanges near military bases. All right. Oaks Menlo says these are the currencies that you all should consider: Vietnamese dong, Venezuelan bolivar, or the Sobanera, Venezuelan Sobanera digitalis, also known as, what do you say? VND? No, that's the Vietnamese dong. Okay, Vietnamese, is that VES? Is that the Vietnamese currency? Okay, they're saying you can either look for it, Vietnamese dong, Venezuelan bolivar, Zimbabwean zim, or you can look for the abbreviations, which is the IQD, that's the Iraqi dinar, VND, which is the Vietnamese dong, the Zimbabwean zim, ZIM, look, Google that. The VES, which I think is the Venezuelan currency, I think, Venezuelan bolivar or sobanero, and the IND, which I don't know if that's the Indonesian rupiah. Nope, that sounds like, what is the IND? Is that, are you saying the Indonesian rupiah or the Indian rupee? That might be the Indian rupee. No, I don't know the value of the coins exactly that were 1963 and before. I just know the coins that were minted before 1964 are the real gold coins, and they have 90% real silver in them. Somebody says the yellow dragon bonds are big money. I don't know about yellow dragon bonds because I heard that some of the real ones have been taken off the market, and they have to be careful because some of them now that are on circulating may not be authentic. So maybe if you get into those bonds, you will look for one that has some type of certificate of authenticity. Does anybody want to come on and say their piece? You're welcome. All my family that's here on Instagram, I appreciate you. We have 1,500 people in the chat, 1,507. Okay, here's a question. I've been looking at your YouTube every day, just waiting for you to go live. Thank you, Brother Tommy. I appreciate you, Tommy Jackson. Thank you. They had me banned for about 8 days. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't post in the community section. I couldn't upload a video. I couldn't go live. And I'm not exactly sure what I said on that last live. I'm really not. Everything I say really just about is something they don't want us to know about. But it's what I'm known for. People say you need to stop talking. But if I stop talking about those things, I don't know what I would talk about. If I don't talk about the takedown of the deep state, if I don't talk about people that are coming out like John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., also known as David Quigley, if I don't talk about Rena Houston, the eldest daughter of Whitney, if I don't talk about Nancy Pelosi's grandchildren and how her daughter-in-law told me some things that had happened with her children. If I don't talk about children of celebrities that are now coming out saying that the deep state sold them into trafficking, I don't know what I would talk about. If I'm not talking about the gold standard, which they banned one of my channels, took me down for months, told me I can never upload again because I was talking to people about gold and silver. Just shut me down while I was encouraging people to get into gold and silver. They just don't want us to know. What else would I talk about? You don't want to hear me talk about anything else except for liberation, right? Everything else, does it really matter? We want to be set free. You can get dinars, Tracy, from Safe Dinar. You can get dinars from eBay. You can get dinars maybe from 100 Trillions. You can get dinar from Banknote World. And I would just say, Google it. Pam says, Happy New Year. This will be the happiest year and the wealthiest year we have ever known. I love you too. And I love you too. And thank you, Sister Empress. So I think that's about it, family. I just wanted you to know that the floodgates have opened. The floodgates of our wealth, our prosperity, and our peace. They're even calling it Jubilee. Did I tell you guys that, no, I didn't show you. There's an article that was printed or published by, Anthony wants to come on. Anthony, your device is not connected, honey. They will need to connect their mic and connect your mic and your camera before I can add you to the screen. Anthony. An article by Zero Hedge came out that talked about a debt jubilee. I think I briefly showed you. Banknote World has all the currencies. Thank you, Ancestral Gifts. I'm so happy to see some of my Instagram family in the chat that know what's going on. Thank you. Look at this, family. Look at this zero hedge. A debt jubilee of biblical proportions is coming. Are you ready? This was published Tuesday, December the 24th. For thousands of years ago, the rulers of ancient Babylon discovered a technique to stave off violent revolts. In ancient times, people often became hopelessly indebted to their creditors. As debts mounted, social unrest would boil over, threatening the stability of an entire ruling system. The rulers of the ancient world understood that this was a very dangerous dynamic. Their solution was radical yet effective, and that was a widespread worldwide debt cancellation called a debt jubilee. Is now making its way to mainstream media, family, talking about a debt jubilee. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So the Pope announcing open up these doors, these portals, it's a traditional ritual letting you know this is the season of a jubilee. You can get in on it now. Everybody's going to be blessed through Nassar and Jassar. Everybody's going to have money put into their quantum accounts, okay? We all have one already. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to. Somebody said I'm taking Oprah's spot. Thank you, Diesel. I appreciate that. You don't have to pay anybody. We all going to have already have a quantum account. We all going to have wealth, and that's why. What's that country in South America I told you about? Oh my God. Guyana announced that they're giving all of their citizens. Thank you. Tommy says you can keep me waiting as long as you want. I've been needing my Dr. Kia Pruitt fix. YouTube kept us waiting. Thank you, Tommy. We're all going to have money in our quantum accounts. So we're all going to be blessed through Nassar and Jassara. But that's not money that's coming from somewhere else other than your money that you actually have through your birth certificate bond, your social security number being traded, all of this stuff that they took from you, and money that your family's left for you too. You'll be able to access that. You'll be able to access money from your marriage certificates, your birth certificates, your death certificates, family death certificates. All that wealth is coming back to you through Nassar and Jassara, but also to these investments that we're talking about. I can't give you financial advice. Hi, love. Then you'll be able to become wealthy, family. Hello, my darling. How are you?
I am well.
Good. Can you turn it up a little bit?
Oh, sure. Are you hearing me better now?
I can barely hear you.
What is it? Let me go back inside.
Every now and then I can hear you, but I barely hear you.
Are you hearing me better now?
That's much better. Introduce
I
yourself,
guess
my
the
darling.
earphones weren't working too well.
What'd you say?
The headphones.
Oh, the
I took it off
headphones.
headphones and it's better now.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. I enjoy your podcast and your energy and your vibrations and all the great things, the matriarchy in you. I
Aww.
just love it.
Thank you, darling. What's your name?
Anthony Sinclair.
Anthony Sinclair. Welcome. It's good to talk to you. What do you want to share with the Soul family?
I didn't have anything off my head. Um, some of my research when I'm talking about the gold standard and the stuff like that, that was um, implemented back in 1933
Mm-hmm.
regarding using the fiat note instead of the gold bar.
Yes,
So,
sir.
in lieu of all of this stuff, those have been reversed by, you know, um, reversed, and that's why the gold standard is coming back again. And that's
Mm.
what the things they used against us to subdue us because they had. I didn't have all my. I have this stuff. I wasn't expecting to be talking
You're
directly,
okay.
but And they declared war on us, and they declared
Mm,
war on people who owned gold and silver and
mm,
minerals. And so now all of this is being returned, and what an incredible time to be alive. But also, it takes so much energy work from
yeah.
me. Um, I don't know what I'm being used for, but I know I used my energy. Um, I have to go to certain places,
Mm,
and being there is, I only know when when I'm there, and whatever it's. I'm here in DC slash Maryland right now,
okay.
and um, the energy here. Since I lived in Florida for a while in 2019. I had to get out of DC because I saw the patterns in one of the firms that I was working with on the COVID, and when I it was they were one of our clients in Microsoft. And
Hmm.
when I read it, when it came on my desk, I was just like, this is not a vaccine. I have to
Mm,
get out of DC.
wow.
And yeah, um, that's what the clarity that came to me in that moment. And it's like, I said, if I stay here, I'll probably end up being forced to take this vaccine when I innately know it's not something, it's not a vaccine.
Right.
And so I moved to Florida. I was working with JetBlue here in DC for a while. I moved
Okay.
to Florida, and then it hit down there the next year, and it's like, and they
Mm,
moved me to Sedona, but I was moved into a den of warlocks and those kind of
mm,
stuff like that out there. And but it was a very growing experience, and I started to get visions, and beings were appearing to me and said, "You have to get out now. It's time to
mhm.
get out." And so I had to walk away from everything,
Ooh,
leave
I know that
everything
was tough.
behind.
Yeah.
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 And so that's has been my stop. And so I'm slowly, my voice is slowly coming back, and I'm just like, wow, I wasn't expecting to have a direct conversation. I was just gonna just be listening because I listen a lot. I
Yeah.
was taught to listen by my great my my mom's mom. I knew my mom's mom. My
Okay.
mom died early, and she would take me to the garden. I'm from originally the Caribbean,
Caribbean.
Grenada.
Grenada? Okay.
Yeah, and she.
One second, darling. All of my Instagram family, we're going to go now from Instagram. Everybody else is going to stay on. If you can, please join us on YouTube at Dr. Kia Pruitt Official. Or you can join me on my Rumble channel. Just go to rumble.com and type in Dr. Kia Pruitt. That's Dr. period space KIA space PRUITT. I thank you all so much for joining me. If I don't cut it off now, they'll just cut it off in mid sentence. So please go over to our Rumble YouTube channel. I'll send a link. I'm putting it in the chat. Anybody wants to join, you see proof. We have somebody right here. He's joining with us. This is my, they can't see from here, right with us. So join in, family, and we will bring you on to have a discussion with us. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Thank you for joining us. Peace, family. Mwah. So I just wanted to end on my Instagram because they'll just cut me off, and I don't want them um, to not be able to hear the rest of it. And if I don't cut it off before they cut me off, I won't be able to save the live. I want people to hear to go be able to go back and listen to what we talked about. So sorry about that. Keep going, brother. I'm
Yes.
enjoying it.
And the first time I met her, I remember every summer my mom would send like my sisters, older sisters and stuff like that to her house. It was just
Okay.
this kind of tradition. And I've been listening to a lot of the ways of the tribes, and I realized, whoa, this is exactly what it is. And I knew I was here for something, but I didn't know what it was. I
Mm,
didn't know what it was. I couldn't figure out what it was. And it came to me when I was 4.5 years old.
okay.
And and so now I'm going through all this. I've been taking time off work and would take like a year off and go meditate. I ended up in Thailand and then up in Europe. But I was discovering things that I innately know, and it's just like something isn't right, something isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so here I am today. I don't want to talk too much about the journey because it's still in process. It's
Doesn't
never
it feel
ending.
good? Doesn't it feel good? Excuse me for interrupting. That
No, no, no.
doesn't it feel good just to be in a place where you're chosen, what God is speaking to you, or where you can feel certain things, and God is saying it's time to go.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
it's scary because I was resisting it when I was living in Sedona,
Mm,
and I was observing. I seen a lot of stuff. I see some of the trafficking that came through the hotel that I was working
mm,
at. And there was a lot of warlocks and witches, not the
mm,
good witches, and that was constantly trying stuff on me. And
mm,
um, I had one time, right before I left, a high priest from Egypt came in to see me,
mm,
and I would feel these things before it happened, and then um, the manager told me, "Oh, this high priest and four of his people are coming in," and I was just like, "What is happening to me? Why?
mm,
What is they're seeing?" Because I didn't see my. I had all these pieces of myself, which is coming together now, and I remember when he came in the door. When as soon as he saw me, he couldn't come in. Something stopped him,
mm,
and he was just looking at me like, and I knew what the intentions were
mm-hmm,
for coming there and stuff like that. And he just knew that I knew, and I was just um and they were just standing there checking in the rest of the parties, and they were trying to sidetrack me, but um I don't know, something is always present with me, and um I don't kind of give myself enough credit.
mm-hmm,
I just think it's just something that happens, that just happened to me. I had so much of those experiences. I just think, oh, those are things that just happen. But then it said it to them, no, you have to pay attention, you have to listen, um you have to become aware of who you are, and all of
mm-hmm,
this other stuff like that. And it's really challenging. And so anyway, I one night I was working, and one of my co-workers who was trying this black magic or whatever, and I fell. He was talking to me, and I was checking in this couple, and I saw how he pulled the girl away from her boyfriend, and I
mm,
said, "What is going on here?" And I realized, wow, he's been trying stuff with me, but he couldn't, and he was trying, and I saw he was trying, but I just ignore it.
mm.
And when that happened, and I witnessed it, he was standing next to me, and all of a sudden I lose function from my
Wow.
waist down.
Mm,
And I said to myself, there is no way I would have him control me, you
yeah.
know,
Yes.
that force in. And I used my arms and I pulled myself on the opposite side of the desk. And then I said, just breathe, Tony, just breathe.
Mm,
But at the same time, I was seeing this light blasting out from me. And he
mm.
was kind of showing me the sequence of events that was occurring with me. And then I said, just go in the back and sit down. And I started to feel the sensations back in my lower part. And I started to walk towards the back. But um, I opened the door and I didn't know what happened after me. And so nobody told me what happened. And I found out when I was leaving work. Um, I was leaving work 4 hours later, and I couldn't understand what happened, why I'm there so late. And nobody said anything. The ambulance wasn't called. And I saw the guy the next day, and he said, "Do you know what happened to you?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Are you going to tell me?" And he said, once I got to the door, it's like something held my feet and pushed me down straight on the concrete.
Yeah, those entities and spirits are real.
Yeah,
Some for good.
that's
Yeah.
what woke me up
Mhm.
completely.
Absolutely. And
And
so, but being in this time right now where you you know that they exist, then you know what's good and what's bad, and you align yourself with the good frequencies, and now you're on the, you can
yeah,
understand why these spirits came against you.
yeah. I just always, I didn't know. I just thought, I just, those things are with me. And I don't know if I took it for granted. I just felt, but they was always getting my attention that, this is, people would come to me at the front desk and said, this is not where you belong.
Mm,
And so I got a lot of warnings and stuff like that. And what I liked about Sedona is the energy of the hiking there. And I think that was my balance. That's what gave me my balance to, um, for what are the things, all of the things I've experienced there spiritually. And I remember I went on a hike. I found this platform, and I felt like, no,
mm,
this is feels like a ship. And
mm.
4 hours later, I I didn't remember what happened to me, and I just remember my eye opened, and then I was walking down, and I felt like I was walking down from a ship, and then
Wow,
the
that's
earth
pretty
started
amazing.
to lit up, and I decided to put my forehead onto the ground, and I heard this blast of
Mm.
light hit me right on my
The
third
pineal
eye.
gland, your first eye,
Yeah.
yeah, your third eye.
And everything got blurry, but it was gold. It was like the dust was
Wow,
too, the
that's
in the 50s
beautiful.
how they took pictures and they
Yes.
had to do this flash stuff. That's what it was. But it was gold that was blasted with this
Mm,
gold essence. And I had to take a 5 minutes to to reacclimate myself because my eyes were blurry. and and then 4 days later I sat in at the front desk, and it was just for the first time I felt the beings around me, and they said, you must
mm,
walk away right now
mm.
because it's going to be worse than when we dropped you to save you. They told me about the fall. um
Well,
and I
and here
heard
you
them.
are.
Yeah.
You
And
listened, and
so,
here you are.
yeah,
Hold
and
on,
here,
hold
man.
on, brother. Somebody else is trying to join us. One second. Thank you so much. We're going to keep you on for your commentary. We have Dude that wants to join, but Dude,
Go
you
ahead,
need
go
to.
ahead. No, no, no.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting to share, and so thank you for the
you're
blessing,
welcome.
and
You're
thank you for
welcome.
gracing me. And it's just such, I don't know. I guess it's a moment that I needed,
Oh,
and
God bless you.
so
Thank
thank
you
you.
for gracing us with your presence, and thank you for being obedient to
Yeah,
the will of the Almighty when He sent certain signs that it was time for you to leave, and
yeah,
you listened, and you're
yeah,
being blessed as a result of that.
yes. I'm
Yes.
blessed with your present breath.
Oh,
I
you're
was
so wonderful.
fortunately too got a telepathic communication that sent me to the Her Majesty Empress Chakra coronation, and it was the scariest thing because not scary, but it was just like, how is this possible? And I remember going to it, and it's like the moment of truth.
Yes.
It was just like, am I following something real and stuff like that? And I got there, and it was it was one of, like, was beyond space and time experience that pushed
That's
me
amazing.
into a higher realm. But anyway, go ahead, take
Okay,
the lead,
sweetheart.
and I'm my eyes on you.
Keep watching. Anytime we hear any breaking news, I'm going to come on and you will know as soon as it
Okay.
happens. So
Yes.
thank you, my love. I appreciate you joining us.
You're
Have a
welcome. You're welcome.
wonderful day and Merry
You do the
Christmas to be
same. You do the
celebrated.
same. Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
You too.
Thank you,
Bye.
baby. Bye
I'm
bye.
here. Bye.
Okay. I just love when you guys come on. I love to see you all. I love to have your energy and to hear what you have to say. I'm just so honored to be graced by your presence. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Brother Anthony. Is there anybody else that wants to join? I saw Jude or Dude in the background, but you have to connect your device. And until you come on, I just want to say thank you to Sister Martha Carrion for sending us a super sticker. May God bless you and heaven smile on you. That's my prayer, that you will be blessed with 1,000-fold more or times what you blessed us with today. Let's see what else. Somebody says you're wonderful. Thank you so much. It is my great pleasure. If I don't see anybody here willing to or wanting to join the chat, then that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get ready to go, family. I see a lot of people sharing information with each other. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. We have 1,468 people in the chat. Chief Mack is in the house. Sister Phyllis says, Judah Allen, Peace King, I bow in your presence. That's amazing. Yeah, we have wonderful people here in the chat, family. Our soul family is amazing and high vibrational. As Chief Max says, this is a wonderful time to be alive when you're connected to the right people and the right source. Absolutely. Anybody know what the gym? Nobody really knows what the Zim rates are, to my knowledge, because this is like new information. We've never seen this happen before, so we're not sure what the rates are. Yes, the Indonesian rupiah, Sister Maureen says, it's a good one to get into, family. A good currency. You're welcome, family. Yes, it's liberation time. All right. Somebody says, I'm in Cape Verde. I'm a Cape Verdean Black American. All right. W.H. Anders. We've been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes, family. I don't want to keep you all. I'll always say that too much longer. Yes, we are Americans from Turtle Island. They also call it Northwest Africa, the North Gate, and many other beautiful names. Al Marak. That's right. It's been a wonderful day, family. Again, the floodgates of our wealth have opened. The Pope, albeit people are saying he's a nefarious person, he's a reptilian, he's not good. The real original Pope, according to our overstanding, has already been dealt with. The Pope that you all see is somebody playing the role of the Pope, and he has been used. He has a handler by the white hats to do certain rituals to let us know what's going on. And that what's going on is that the portals or the doors of our Jubilee have been opened. So that's it, family. I thank you for 1,468 people being in the chat. I suppose you guys are finished talking. Maybe you don't want to say anything. If you do, you have to let me know, and I'll bring you on to speak your piece about how we're living in a wonderful time, how it's a good time to be alive. Or you might want to just say hello. Then if that's true, I will send you a link. Somebody says we're under control. Everything, family, is being turned back into the hands of the people. So it's go time. Keep your vibrations high, family. Stay positive and know that we're moving or have moved into the golden era. All of those NPCs or non-player characters, for the most part, have been done with. You're going to see fewer people out in the streets. Okay, that's why we need to be making lots of babies. We need to get up this population, get it back up, because they got rid of some of us through their genocidal programs, right? And then some of these non-player actors, these deep seeders or whatever you want to call them, they've been taken off the planet. These beings that were not human, they've been dealt with. So again, keep your vibrations high, stay positive, look for opportunities to get involved in the wealth transfer. You're all going to receive a blessing through Nasar and Jasar. But if you're interested in currencies, we've put a list of currencies in the chat for you. We're going to tomorrow at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time bring on Mel Carmine from XRPQFS Team 1 to talk about XRP and digital assets. For those of you who are into that, it's not my thing. I don't really know much about it. I don't really understand it. I did get into a little of it. I put some money in it just in case, even though I didn't understand it fully, because people have been telling me this is the wave of the future. So, family, tomorrow at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please join me live. You'll be able to talk to Mel. You'll be able to ask him questions about XRP. And, if you want more people to come on and talk about digital assets, you have to let me know, and I'll bring them on so that you all can be ready for the wealth transfer that's to come. So that's it, family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. I was hoping to get more people to come in, check in, and say your piece, but maybe you don't want to talk today, and somebody was waiting in the queue. But dude, that's what it says your name is. You didn't connect your device. You will have to connect your device in order to come on. That's it, though. What did you say? Sheena's intuitive reading says Rod Hayes is the one who told me about Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I'm so glad he did. He's a beautiful, amazing person to know. I love him so much. He has a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information that he shares with us as we prepare for this golden age. Take care, family. Go out and make this a great day and get ready for this great transfer. We're there. We're at the precipice of our prosperity. We're at the precipice of experiencing our wealth. We're at the precipice right there, family, right at the pinnacle of this golden age and opportunities for which we've been waiting for most of our lives. That's it. Some people are saying they're keeping their fingers crossed. It's here. It's happening. And if I hear any more news, I'll be sure to let you know. And for my Rumble family, I'm so sorry. I forgot to connect the Rumble. I did all that work and forgot to connect the Rumble link to the podcast until the end of the podcast. So what I'll do is I'll save this podcast and I'll upload it onto my Rumble channel. And for those of you who missed my live that I did the other day, if you're from YouTube and you couldn't catch it because I was banned from YouTube for a while, I'll upload that video onto my YouTube channel. Take care, family. Go out and make this a wonderful evening. You're more than welcome. Peace. I love you. And thank you so much for gracing me with your presence. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. I thank you. And I just give you all of the accolades that you deserve every chance that I get, because without you, I wouldn't be relevant. And thank you also for all the Cash App blessings, for the super sticker, the super chat, and the money that you send, whether it's by Cash App, PayPal, or even on this platform. I guess you can give money through YouTube as well. I appreciate you so much. Good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Time for me to go make some of these black-eyed peas, cornbread, collard greens, and whatever else I'm going to put with this. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.